you're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
So I want to piss off some Christians now.
Okay.
Now this is not intentional, guys. Bear with me. If you're Christian now, I may not offend you. I'm hoping you. I hope I don't. But I have to attack something here. A while ago, occasionally I do watch television. Now, what I mean by that is occasionally I will catch a film on TV because it was on and I happened to walk by and I said, "Oh, I've never seen this. Let me give it a shot."
I got to be honest. A couple of the films that I've seen in the last couple of weeks,
yes,
actually I think 2 or 3 of them, have been for me watching TV, which I almost never do. I have a very large DVD collection, and that's my go-to section for anything.
Or download, or like Netflix streaming kind of download thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Netflix.
Exactly.
So, I came across the film 3.
3.
Now, do you remember 3?
Is that the one where it's THE3 and 3?
THR3E.
Okay.
Because ever since 7, we can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was on. I was like, you know what? I remember this film came out, and I don't remember anybody actually talking about it afterwards. And I start paying more attention to it as it's going. I was like, wow, this is pretty bad. I was like, oh my, wait. Yeah, this is a bad film. So I'm becoming more halfway through. I'm online and I'm looking up research on this while I'm watching. This is really bad. So this is based on a novel by Ted Dekker.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Ted Dekker?
I've never heard of Ted Dekker.
Dekker.
I've heard of Dekker. I've definitely seen it spelled that way.
Now, do you know?
Maybe I'm just not thinking of this guy, but I've heard of Dekker.
I know you're not familiar with him. You know why?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
Because he is one of the preeminent Christian horror novelists.
Super Jesus.
He is the name. If you go right now, and I tested this theory, by the way, I'm not making this up. If you go to a mall and walk into a Walden Books,
okay,
and go to the Christian section, the 2 biggest nonfiction writers of horror-based books you will find are the 2 guys that do the Left Behind series,
okay,
and Ted Dekker.
Really?
He's got like half a dozen, if not more. He is the big name. He's the Stephen King of Christians. That's his big thing. 3 is the first film.
And hopefully the last.
I got to double check here. Yes, it is the first film adaptation of a novel of his. And it's also the first film of the Fox Faith film series. Fox Entertainment started Fox Faith. You can go to their website. I believe it's foxfaith.com. And their theme is...
You want to talk about whores. I mean, there's obviously money to be made in religion and faith.
Well, hey...
But Fox has gone out of their way to make a department to make movies for it?
No. It's more of a distribution.
So people who make Christian films
can distribute it through Fox, yes.
Is that where Kirk Cameron went through to have his film?
It's quite possible. There's a whole list of them there. And now, there's nothing wrong.
I actually saw that movie.
There's nothing wrong with Christian-based films. I'm not saying that. But, and there's nothing wrong with catering to a specific audience. If the audience is there, you give them the films.
Right.
I'm knocking this because it's a bad movie. If Ted Dekker's books are written like this movie is, then he's a bad author. I haven't read his books. For all I know, they're brilliant, and this is just the best you can do.
Right.
There's more evidence coming up to prove possibly to the contrary.
Okay.
Now, it was adapted for the screen by Alan McElroy. He also wrote the screenplays for Halloween 4 in 1988, Rolling Thunder in 1996. That's the Killer Mac truck movie.
Right.
Yes. Spawn. He did the screenplay novelization for Spawn. Also, you're going to love this one. 2002, he penned Ballistic, X vs. Sever.
Ooh.
Yes!
Oh.
One of the worst films ever made, hands down. This guy.
Created.
And he also wrote Wrong Turn 1, 2, and 3. So this is our screen. So I'm willing to say, Ted, maybe it's not your fault.
Yeah,
You just got a bad screenwriter.
He might be a decent author.
Okay. The basic plot of 3
Okay.
is, and I might ruin the ending for this. I'm not sure. But that's because it's so predictable, it's not even funny. The basic plot of this is there's a serial killer going around killing people after giving them riddles to solve.
Okay.
And he does it through phones. And this seminary student, obviously, is targeted by the guy. And there's a lot that goes back and forth. Now, it's a serial killer that only kills one person in the whole film.
So he's not a serial killer.
Well, he is, but this is a Christian film, so we don't have a lot of death.
Well, then they obviously don't know what classifies a serial killer as serial.
Well, they never come out and call him a serial killer, but the way the film is designed, it's supposed to be a serial killer. And he kills.
So
people.
He's killed before.
Yes, he kills one person at the beginning of the film.
2 doesn't do it.
You
need it.
he kills
FBI filing. You need at least 3 killers.
Right, but again, we're not going strict because this isn't my story. This is theirs.
No, I got you.
So you want to call him a mad killer, mass killer, whatever. He's setting bombs off left and right, but they keep saving everybody in the nick of time.
Okay.
All right, and then there's a whole thing of like, who is this mystery person? And it basically, all I'll say is that the ending sucks.
Well, most bad movies have
Now,
bad endings.
the film has stuff. For instance, like when cops disarm bombs from people and they're about to explode, and they're in a police building in the city, they usually don't throw the bomb out the window.
Really?
That
really happened?
That's really frowned upon.
Holy shit.
That's really it was in an alley, but that's frowned upon.
I mean,
yeah.
Was there like, say, literally like maybe 2 or 3 seconds left, and that was last resort? Is that how that scene happened?
Yeah, but she runs down the hall specifically to throw it out instead of like throwing it to an empty room or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean we're batting 1,000.
Okay.
Also, you were complaining about Fox Faith or whatever. I have a list of some of the other films you can find at Fox Faith.
Really?
Website.
Let's hear
Space Chimps.
Oh.
Passion of the Christ. Cheaper by the dozen.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Passion of the Christ started this wing.
No,
at Fox.
It probably did. I guarantee 100%. And City of Ember, that last film that came out.
Oh.
These are basically just family-friendly films.
Right.
The whole idea of 3 is not the Christian horror. By the way, I think the tagline for 3 should have been "Audience Nothing."
Like Rush Hour 3, Audience Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, the whole idea is they want to do a thriller about psycho serial killers, but without anything that would offend your 10-year-old.
Got it.
That's the whole point.
Was this an R-rated film?
Yeah.
It was?
No, I don't know. It might have been PG-13. I didn't look at the rating.
Okay.
I honestly didn't look that up. Also, there's like this serial killer's already killed. They said he killed 3, but you only see 1 on screen. So he supposedly already killed 3 people. This seminary student is picked as the next victim, jigsaw style, like with phone calls and recordings and stuff. They don't give him a police escort. They just tell him, "Here's a pager. If anything bad happens, call us." Wow. And then later on, he keeps leaving and doing stuff, and the cops keep almost whining. Says, "Why won't you call us? Why do you keep going off and almost meeting the killer, and then we miss them? Why won't you you have the pager? Come on, call us. Come on." There's no protective custody, no 24-hour surveillance.
Wow.
There's just one guy asleep in front of his apartment. By the way, it's just, but and this one even has that whole CGI. Let's sweep through the wires and everything to show you where that one thing is underneath the bus because there's a bomb in the bus. And,
Great.
But
I'm tired of that. That's so overdone.
The serial killer keeps calling him up, and
what are you wearing?
He keeps calling me names. He's supposed to hate this kid,
right? So
but it's Christian science. It's a Christian horror film,
right?
We can't call him. He can't call him. You fucking bastard. No cursing. So he starts calling. He calls him things like "you puke."
You got to be kidding
You
me.
puke. Yeah, puke comes up at least 2 or 3 times. You puke. I hate you. You disgust me. You puke.
I don't even think I'd be insulted. I really don't.
And the cop going around. This is how bad it is. Too. The cop going around. She shows her badge at one point. The female cop who for some reason this becomes a love interest. But they don't do anything because it's Christian film.
Of course.
So there's no kissing or anything. And her brother is killed by the killer at the beginning. which is why this female cop is so interested. Because if it was just killing other people, I'm sure she wouldn't care. She has a picture of her brother paper clipped
To her badge?
over her ID in her badge thing.
Oh
So
my.
you can't do that. The minute she shows this old lady, and the lady's not going to let her in, it's like, I wouldn't. Look at that. She's covered her ID up. You can see the badge, and then it's just a picture of a dead guy. What is this? Who's... Oh,
Like I'm already exhausted from.
I'm exhausted talking about this.
God.
You know, and it's... And then, like, the kids... Here's the weird thing, too. It's a Christian horror film. And
Right.
one of the things they try to imply that this person is not well is that you find out that he lived in this house of weirdos as a kid when his parents died, and that the weirdos never let him out of the house. He didn't go to school. He stayed in the house, and they just taught him what they felt the world should be. And they painted this, and this is why the kid's messed up. This is why he has problems. Now, I thought as a Christian horror film, they would actually be pro homeschooling.
Yeah.
But instead,
they usually are.
But instead, it actually kind of paints homeschooling as a bad idea.
Does it really?
Yeah, with a bunch of characters, the weird characters. There's nothing sadder than a director who tries to do Dave Lynch.
Oh,
Not Dave Lynch, Stephen Lynch.
Stephen Lynch.
Not Stephen Lynch.
Who the hell are you talking
The director.
about? David Lynch.
David Lynch. That's what I meant.
You had it right the first time.
I know.
Then you went really wacky.
Rub it in. But it's sad when a director tries to pull a Lynch with characters and fails.
Even Lynch fails.
Yeah, Lynch does fail. Yeah. So, but that threw me off. So wait, it says this film's against homeschooling. How is this a Christian film? Here's another great scene. You only find this in Christian horror films. This nervous, geeky looking white guy walks up to a bunch of like hoodlums, mixed races, but mostly not white, like in like an abandoned alley around their cars and music. And he walks up and literally he says, "Know where I can get a gun?" And they give him one. They don't beat him. They don't chase him off. They don't kill him. They hand them a paper bag with a gun, and I'm assuming money changes hands too, but I don't see that. As far as I know, they were honestly
good hoodlums.
Just gave him a gun.
Really nice hoodlums.
He looks like he's in danger. Give him a gun.
You need this more than we do.
This is how easy it is. Apparently, this is how easy it is to get an illegal gun. Just find some hoodlums hang around their car and ask them for a gun. They will give it to you. And they'll even
and you know what? I bet all the markings and the serial numbers are already filed off, so that you could do your thing. And
we don't want to get you in trouble.
Well, yeah, they don't want the gun traced back to them.
So basically, the whole film is like part Fight Club, part Saw, part Speed, all crap. All right, and the fact that I'm referencing Fight Club, that has something to do with the ending.
Oh boy!
And since the film's called 3, figure it out.
Got it.
Again.
All right.
Again.
I don't need to see this movie now.
Half hour? No, you really do.
I do.
Half hour into the film, I'm like, you got to be kidding. This is where you're going with this? Really?